What is up, fantasy football fools? We are back again for a highly anticipated season. It's been a long wait, as all the off seasons are. I can't honestly believe we're already back, but I am so excited. Jacob, how are you feeling coming into this season?
I'm feeling like a chip on my shoulder. Oh, we can see the screen right now. I was 4-10, not the worst last year, but it wasn't a good year for me. So I'm feeling like I'm feeling ready to get back out there. 3 days to the draft. I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. I haven't done too much research. I'm kind of saving it. I probably do some tomorrow at work if I'm not don't have a lot of work, but I'm waiting to the last site or last minute this year, which usually I'm usually researching a lot by now, but we'll see how this goes.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it pays off. But I got to say, I'm kind of on the same train, and I did the same thing last year. If I start researching too early, I get to overthinking things, and you just hear too much information early, and then you just got too much to process over, 3, 4 weeks. I think it's a lot better to kind of wait till closer to the draft when all the news has already come in, and you can just start fresh and just see what's out there. So. I like the strat. It is bold, especially coming off a 4-10 season. You definitely got to get back out there. But speaking of chips on shoulders, I don't think anyone's coming into this season with a bigger chip on his shoulder than our good friend Lubasi. Tee up with my homies. Historically bad season last year at 2-12. What are our hopes for Lubasi coming into this season?
I mean, I think he's got to make the playoffs. I think there's nothing. He's got to prove to himself that he can hang in this league. I mean, I always hear him say that he wins in Rudy's league or like the minor leagues that he's in, but he never can win this league, and he has never won this league. I don't want to say playoff or bust for Lubasi this year, but he's gonna have to take a long look in the mirror if he is under 500 this year for sure.
Yeah, and as the season has approached over the last couple weeks, we've been talking a little bit in the group chat, just kind of telling Lubasi like he's got a lot to prove this year, coming off of a 2-12, and as I mentioned, historically bad. We've never had somebody finish with only 2 wins. He's got to come out here and really shake things up because if he has another season, even anywhere close to this, the chatter is going to be brutal about Lubasi's skill set in this league, so I'm scared for him.
And it's funny because I think the worst record we've ever had in this league with the history that we have at ESPN is 4-10. I think we got a couple, maybe 3 or 4 4-10s in the history of this league that we can go back on. So really, Jimmy had pretty historic losing season as well, but Lubasi just had it worse.
It's crazy to think that Jimmy was on a record-setting pace for bad season, and then Lubasi finishes even worse to just swallow up any attention toward Jimmy's record at all. Like I wasn't even thinking about the fact that Jimmy went 3-10
No,
or 3-11. Like that hadn't even crossed my mind once because all I could think about was seeing that 2-12. Like that is just one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life.
yeah, it is bad. I just wanted to see the two wins Lubasi got. So he got one against Jimmy and he got one against Nick. And just look at those L's. He actually won the first round of the playoffs too against Jimmy. But just look at all those L's, man. That is that is tough. That is tough.
That is brutal. Starting off 0-4, finally gets a win. Thinks, you know what? I'm not out of it yet. We're 1-4. We got a chance to turn it around. Goes to 1-5, gets another win, sitting at 2-5. You're thinking, oh, we're ready to hit the panic button, but we still got a shot, and then completely loses out. That is just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I mean, probably not the dagger, but this was a big loss. This he scored 138 and lost to Rudy. Still, I mean, he was still pretty like 2-8 or whatever that is. So he was probably out of it no matter what. But that's probably just the dagger where he just gave up because that's exactly where I would have given up if I was him.
Yeah, just
In that one.
a rough season. But yeah, Lubasi's definitely got a lot to prove this year coming into this season. But not to spend too much time on him, we will give a big shout out here to Chris. Congratulations on the win last year. I think that's Chris's third ring in this league, which I mean, he's kind of proved himself as a heavy hitter. I do think he has finished last once before, but I mean, when you have three championships, that doesn't really matter. I think he's made quite the statement here. So, always a juggernaut, someone to watch out for. And yeah, I'm really excited to get into this season and get this thing going. I'm still chasing my first ring, and I'm hoping this is my year.
Yeah, and then another great year by Jeff. Jeff had that most points by a lot, over 100 from Dom. Jeff was just dominant all year, just couldn't get it done against Chris in the last week of the playoffs. But we had some good teams. Yeah, we had Jeff. Chris was really good. A lot of 10-4 teams. Well, I guess two 10-4 teams, or three 10-4 teams. So Rudy was up there all year. It was really top heavy just because of how bad the bottom three were, I guess. Chewy had a pretty bad season compared to what he's had in the past. So he's probably going to be looking to kind of catch up too. But yeah, it was a great season. And I know I always say this when we talk about Chris and him winning. Chris always won the last two. So Matt won in 2008, Chris won in 2017 and 2016 because his first year with us, he won the first two.
Yeah.
And then 2018 is when we started actually showing the
Yeah, I think Chris got
history.
last. Oh no, that was I was thinking he
Johnny,
got two wins and then finished last, but that wasn't it. That was I'm thinking of someone else.
yeah, it could have been because I know he has finished last. I'm trying to find just really quick. He was 3-10. Okay, so 3-10 was the worst. I'm sure that was Chris right there.
All right, just to show that he's human, Chris did have a bad season,
Three
so
and 10.
he does have some vulnerability.
Jeff was 3-11. Rudy was 3-11. So 3 wins was our lowest. I'm sure ever. I'm sure we never saw a 2 loss or 2 win season.
I'm pretty
Um,
confident that we have never
yeah.
seen
So
that.
yeah, Lubasi's right there. Oh, that's crazy. But yeah, congrats to Chris. Congrats to Jeff. Jeff has been he's been really good. I know I just said he went 3-11 one of those times, but he's been up on the top at least 2 or 3 times in the 4 years he's been in it. I think this is his fourth
Shout
year.
out to that bronze medal over there too. Top three, baby.
Yep,
It's not
Ryan
the
got top
ring.
three.
It's not the ring that we wanted, but hey, I had a pretty rough couple seasons before that, so it was good to at least get on the podium last year. But
Yeah, last time you were on the podium was 19.
yes, it was, and I lost to you. And I
Yep.
had like the crazy thing is I had almost like a historically good team, and you had like an even better one.
Yeah,
I
that
guess
was
my
my
team
best team.
wasn't that good. I was 8-5, but I had a really good team that year, and you just had a just way better one.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious. I think me and you had like crazy points for. Yeah, we were. You
Yeah.
were almost 100. You were 80 up from the second place, and I was 90 up from you. It was yeah. Me and you had really good teams that year. Um, but looking towards this season, we did the drawing Sunday night. And here are the divisions. You got Chris's division on the left hand side and Jeff's division on the right hand side. That was that was a championship game last year. So I got to ask for the question: who do you think has the best division this year? Who's the scariest division?
Oh man, this is a tough question, and I really hate to sound biased when I say this, but when you got two guys from last year that literally were bottomed out in the league with Jeff with Lubasi and Jimmy,
Yeah,
it's hard not to say that our division is looking the best right now. Rudy was pretty good last year. Jeff was really good last year. I was pretty good last year. I mean, we got a pretty solid division. Chewy's had a rough year last year, but he's typically a guy to watch out for. He's usually got good teams. Nick's kind of up and down. His teams are not bad, but they're inconsistent, I would say, as far as getting wins. And then obviously, you got what, three, four rings at this point. So
yeah. It's either my team's really good or really bad. So we'll see which one we get this year.
yeah, I feel like thinking about it that way, it's hard for me not to say that our division is like far and away better than the other one, but I mean, again, like they do have some good big hitters over there. Dom's usually pretty good. Chris, obviously, we know, just talked about him having three championships here. James had a pretty good year last year, kind of fizzled out at the end. And then Pepper's pretty solid teams most of the time. So it's not a bad division over there, but I just think ours is, a lot better. What do you think?
I mean, I agree. I think we have more consistently the top guys that we see finish. Um, but I mean, Johnny's had his years that he's been on top. Jimmy's had his years too. It's kind of like, yeah, it's hard to explain. I think we just have more heavy hitters that have been consistent the last couple of years. Um, and that is scary if you are in this division, which both of
Yeah,
us
yeah,
are.
yeah. It's not
Um,
necessarily a good thing
no,
for us
I'm,
to be in
I'm
a
hope I was
tougher
wishing I was on the other
division.
one.
Yeah, I would much rather be in the division that everyone thinks is the weaker one, just to have a better shot. But this is fantasy football. We start from scratch every year, so there's really not a tougher division versus like a good one versus a bad one. It all kind of just is going to come down to the draft. But just based off recency bias and who's been good like the past year, I do think ours is a little bit tougher this year, but we'll see what happens, man. Well, I can't wait for our annual post draft podcast when we get to dive in and break down everyone's teams at that point, and then we can really get into that conversation of whose division is going to be scarier.
Yeah, because I mean, we did see Chris went 3-11 like 2-3 years ago. So everyone's had their bad seasons. It's just what you kind of draft.
That's right.
Um, on how you draft this year and what draft position you have this year. Um, yeah, and Ryan mentioned that we haven't really done a pre-draft show in a while. I guess I just didn't remember, doing one ever really, but I thought we did one last year, but maybe we didn't. So, here's a little live draft trends. It looks like Jamal. I haven't really done too much research. I've researched like the top, 20, 25 guys, kind of where I want to be drafting. Um, but here's just like the live draft trends. You got Jamar Chase and Bijan, Barkley, Jefferson, Gibbs. I don't know really where I want to be drafting this year. I feel like the top 10, I feel like all 12 draft positions are actually pretty solid this year.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't go too wrong with any of these top guys. I mean, there's definitely some, at least for me, there's some people in here that I would certainly prefer over others. But I mean, really, you come out your number one pick out of these 12 guys, like you're going to have a solid number one player. But, it all also, you might dip down into the 13 to 15 range for your first pick too. I mean, you never know what's going to happen with how people are feeling. But yeah, I do feel like the board here is pretty top heavy with these first 12 guys. So really not a bad spot in the house, just kind of depending on what your preferences are.
And I think you just got to look at down low. Like if you have a first pick, you're not picking until what, like 24, 25 area. So all these guys basically probably should theoretically be off the board. Um, but not to get too much into Ryan and I's draft strategy. I think we just wanted to see kind of what the board looked like. But the guy I'm like the most curious about, I don't know how high of he will be on my board, but Ashton Genchi will be an interesting pick. I wonder if he goes in the first round. I wonder if he goes in the first 12 picks of our draft. What do you think?
I think he probably will. I do think that is an interesting call out though, because I can't, and maybe I'm just not thinking of all the guys, but I can't remember too often or the last time you'd see a rookie in the first round of the fantasy draft. I'm trying to think like when the last time that might have happened, but I don't know. For some reason, like I'm drawing a blank trying to think of the last time you had like just a straight up fresh rookie who's going, who's like almost a top 10 player in the entire league based off of like fantasy draft boards. I mean, if you do, can you think of anyone like that?
I mean, Bijan, I don't know where he went in his rookie year. I don't think Jamar Gibbs was top 12, but Bijan would be the closest one. I don't know where he was, but that's the probably the best rookie running back, at least that has been drafted in a while. I would think.
Yeah, I know Gibbs was not because I had Gibbs his rookie year and I got him pretty late. I reached for him too, so I don't think it was him. Bijan maybe I can't remember either where he was his rookie year, but yeah, I can't remember a guy coming in with as much hype as Genty has that he's going first round of fantasy drafts. So that is an interesting guy to see in the mix here. But yeah, we'll see. I do think he's probably going to get picked up in the first round, but our league is so everybody in here knows ball, so I mean it really could go so many different ways, and that's why I feel like our drafts are so exciting. I love draft night, and I'm super excited for Sunday to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, that's the one guy that I've seen. I mean, I'm starting to get a lot of Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, fantasy football stuff and videos and tweets that I'm sure everyone gets for the For You pages if you're on Twitter a lot. Um, but it's starting to see that, and he's a big name to like consider, and like what like it's different from almost every single person tweet I've read on what they think Genshi's going to do this year. And top 12 first round pick, I don't know if I mean depending on where I'm drafting, I'm definitely not drafting him in like over like McCaffrey or anything like that. But that'll be an interesting person. That's the first. That's just the one guy I've kind of seen um, have a lot of discourse over on if he's a first round pick or not. But we'll see. Yeah, like you said, draft night's really fun. It's a little earlier this year because Notre Dame. Unfortunately, I like drafting more later at night, but the league spoke, so we're going to do it at 6 o'clock. We might do it just a touch earlier. I got to see some stuff, but it won't be. It might be like 5:45. Maddie might have something to do that day, but nonetheless, it's going to be early, and I'll figure that out. I'll be sure to tell you guys that. But this is the first week. The first week matchups. Any eye popping matchups that you're excited to see?
I think me and you week one. I don't know. This is probably like the first time we've ever played week one. I think that's going to be pretty a pretty hype matchup. I know we talked a lot about Lubasi already, so I think all eyes are going to be on him week one and see what kind of statement he can make. If he already starts off 0-1, that's not going to be good. And then obviously our two champions from last year, Chris versus Jeff. I think that's going to be a good game. I mean, really, all these matchups I think are going to be good, but again, it's hard to say too because we don't know what everyone's team's going to look like. Um, but yeah, just based off like historically how different teams have done, I'm excited for those matchups to see how those go.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting dynamic on week one because, like, of course, if you want to win, but if you lose, you get like first waiver wire pickups, and usually you find some gold in the first 2 weeks of waivers. So it's not like the end of the world, end of the season type thing, but just me facing you, I want to win like no matter what. Like it's I want to win. There's no if I lose, it's I need to win this week just because I'm playing you.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point though. You do like there is like the double-sided coin there of like you want to start off 1-0 just because you want to save those losses. We always talk every year like you're looking at like a max 6 losses before you're talking about missing playoffs. And getting that first one week one is so terrible and you're already like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
is this the trajectory I'm going down for the whole
Right.
year already?" But then on the other side, like you said, you do get that first waiver pickup and it's almost like if you are going to take a loss, week one is probably the best place to take it because then you do get those first round of waivers where those guys are showing out week one, and some of those guys are season long studs. So yeah, week one is an interesting one.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Lubasi, I do want to see how he starts this year. It's going to be I'm sure he's going to want that week one win too because he doesn't want to mess around this year. Um,
Yeah, and honestly, another guy I'm gonna have my eyes on this year too is Rudy. We've talked a lot of shit about Rudy. I feel like just over the years and over the seasons of like how he's not that good. We've talked a lot of trash about him, and then last year he came out and kind of proved himself, had a really good year, and where I want to see like is he gonna be able to do it again?
Yeah, he's had a couple good years. I feel like he's been a every other year type of guy. I feel like last year was really good. 2 years ago he was really bad, and then 3 years ago he had that. really good season. I think he got second again. I don't think he's won. I think he's gotten second 2 out of the last 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so he's turned it up since the good old days in college and high school where he was legitimately terrible. But he's definitely done better the last 4 years for sure. So he'll be an interesting guy to keep an eye on to see if he wins his first title. Because I think we said this, at least I said this in our group chat with me, Lubasi, Jeff, and Ryan. I told him if I wasn't going to win, I really want to crown a new guy winning this year. So that's Dom, Lubasi, Ryan, Rudy, James, Nick and Johnny probably haven't been in the league too long, but those two haven't won. I'm missing somebody else, but I want to see a new winner this year. I want to crown a new one if it's not me, of course.
Yeah, well, I can certainly hope that it's me. If it's somebody new, I sure hope it's me. And even if I mean, yeah, I hope it's me either way. I'm tired of seeing other people come in this league. I've been in this league as long as it's been alive, and I haven't
Yeah.
won one. And I see new guys come in and they win rings, and it's sickening to see. Really, like I just can't seem to get it over the edge there. I've got two second place finishes in my career, and I just can't seem to push it over to the top spot. And I'm really hoping that this is going to be the year.
Yeah, it's funny because you and Lubasi both are looking for that first one. So I actually really don't want it to be you two because every year passes that you guys don't win. It's extra funny, I guess, in a
That's
selfish way.
fucked up.
In a selfish way, it's funny, especially because Jeff got one of them right away. So that was funny. But um, yeah, so we'll just kind of go through the league settings. I don't know if there's any much else that Ryan wants to get to, but it was probably the last thing for me that I want to get to. Basic settings probably the same. Nothing really changes here. Snake draft, like I said, 6 o'clock might be 5:45, but right now it's 6 o'clock. I don't know what time per pick we want to do. I feel like I don't know if we do 60 seconds all the picks or we do 90 for like the first 4 rounds and then 60 for the other. I don't know. Do you remember what we did in the years past?
Yeah, I think we usually start with 90 at least for like the first four or five, and then usually by then I think we bump it down to 60
60.
to
Yeah, that's
keep
what
it
I was thinking
moving.
too. So I'll edit this later because then I have to put my password in. But yeah, so draft order will be randomized 1 hour prior to draft time, like we always do. Um, Nothing changed there. Roster, nothing changes there. 9 starters, 16 starters, nothing changes here. I was really hoping we got rid of this kicker, but for some reason, people just love a freaking
People
kicker.
love the kicker.
I'd rather see another flex. I did a two flex league last year, not a quarterback, not two quarterbacks, just an extra flex. And it's so much more fun to watch like a receiver than a kicker. Like I don't understand the love for the kicker, but that's just me.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying that one year. I do think it would be a little bit more fun, but at least for this year, we got another year of the kicker. I mean, sometimes the kickers can be fun, but yeah, when your game comes down to just a kicker and you're just waiting for field goals
You're
and
right.
it's tough to watch sometimes, but
And then,
nonetheless,
especially when
well,
the extra point got pushed back, I don't know, like 5, 6 years ago, whatever it was. Now
yeah.
you're like nervous. Like when they get a touchdown, you're like, shit, this is like a 40-yard field goal. Like he's got to make this for just 1 point. It's just like, it's kind of nerve wracking
Or
too.
miss it for -1.
Right. Exactly. Oh, I hate the kicker. I hate watching my kicker. I'll never turn on the game unless it's like a primetime game where my last guy's the kicker. But I'll never turn on a game that just has my kicker because it's just like I'm not. You only watch like 10 plays, but
But when your kicker kicks like a 55-yarder
yeah,
and just nails it, you go high. I mean, 5 points for, a 10-second watch. That is
right.
pretty exciting.
Nervous 10 seconds, but yeah. So scoring has not changed. We did have that vote to change the kicker scoring, but that one was voted to be the same as last year, which is zero point 0.1 points per yard. Um, Nothing changes there. I feel like we
Speaking
have.
of scoring, I know I talked to you about this, but I would like to hear. I know it's not going to be a vote for a while, but I would like to hear everyone's thoughts on potentially passing touchdowns being 6 points instead of four. I think that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think the quarterback position already is the highest scoring position. Um, so it would make it higher. So I don't know if that I think that would definitely push quarterbacks up a little bit in our league. More
Yeah,
importance.
I think so too. I mean, I think it would potentially change draft strategies. It could change a lot of things. I just think it would be an interesting conversation to open up and just kind of see what people think about it.
Yeah, we should have like a 1 year random thing happen like once per year and then revert it the next year. So like you said, like maybe do quarterback 6 points 1 year, like have one individual defensive player 1 year, like something like that. I mean, probably not going to do that, but it's an interesting thought to like have some kind of caveat each year, so it's not like the same thing. But people like that though, like it just being the same.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it's interesting conversations we could at least have. Never has to be anything implemented unless it gets voted in, but I think just opening conversations for stuff like that would be an interesting, fun little side activity.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think you and I have been wanting to do two quarterbacks for a while, but people hated that. Still hate
Yeah,
the
yeah,
idea.
yeah. I definitely wanted to try that out at least 1 year, but yeah, doesn't seem to have a lot of popularity around the league right now.
No,
But we
it
can
did.
talk about our rule that did change this year, our tiebreakers for the postseason.
That's what I was looking for. Um, no, well, the matchup tiebreaker, it's always been QB points, but I feel like we don't usually get that many ties since we do like point oh 0.04 for passing yards. So usually ties are really hard. But if it is a tie, it is going to be QB points. But yeah, here we go. The playoff seeding tiebreakers right here.
Yeah, so it's going to be head-to-head record for the basically the first tiebreaker, and then if your head-to-head record is tied, then it'll go to whoever's got the most season total points for.
Yeah, so if you, I mean, you don't have to read that now, but this is how I figured out that that was the thing. So I really never knew kind of what it went to after, if it was like if the first thing was tied, but it actually shows it here. So it will go to, so it'd be head to head record, then it'll go to points for, and then intra division record. So that is the exact for sure what will happen in case head to head record is tied, which could happen because we have a lot of, we only play some of our division twice, or some people in our division twice. So 1-1 could definitely happen.
Yeah, yeah, I know that's probably likely to happen in a lot of scenarios, but I know we put a lot of emphasis every year on the division records, but now that is basically doesn't really matter anymore. So I think that was a pretty popular vote between everybody. I think that was something basically the whole league wanted. So glad that we are able to make that change, and we'll see how that goes this year.
I kind of didn't mind the intra division record though, because like it made your division game so much more like important. Like,
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, there's kind of two sides to it, and maybe we'll see at the end of this year if what people think. We can always go back to it next year, or if everyone likes this format, then we'll keep it the same. And I'm sure it'll probably be a vote every year for that one.
yeah, I think for this it's either head to head or intra division, because we do a lot of total points, like extra money for total points. So I feel like it's redundant to keep that as a tiebreaker. Because fantasy football, it is skill, but you got to have some luck in there. Just ask Jimmy like 4 or 5 years ago. That guy had the worst team in the league, but somehow he got a bye in the first round of the playoffs. But it's
Yeah.
just like the fun stuff like that that keeps the league, I think, exciting.
No, I agree. And I think even for myself last year, I don't think I would have made the playoffs if we had this format. And since I somehow like mustered out a intra-division record that was really good,
Yeah,
which got me into the playoffs, and then I ended up getting third place. So yeah, I think it does add some flair to it a little bit. Kind of leans a little bit on the luck side sometimes. But yeah, I think this way too will be a fun new thing to have for this season.
I agree. So here, I don't know if there's anything else you want to get to, but yeah. So right now, August 31st, 6 o'clock. So you got 3 days, 19 hours, 10 minutes, and 39 seconds till draft day or draft time.
Yep, I don't have anything else. I think we can probably call that a pod. I'm glad we were able to get on and do a little preseason hype to get on and just kind of chat about the season coming up here. Super excited for draft day and the season ahead. I can't believe the time of year is already here. It always feels so slow, and then when it gets here, it's like I can't believe we're back, and we're back.
Yeah. And the next draft or the next podcast, once the draft is done, is my favorite. I think your favorite too. So I'm really excited for the next one.
Yeah, that's likely to be a good probably hour and a half, 2 hour
2 hours.
podcast.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure to put bookmarks in there so you guys can skip around. But yeah, that is definitely my favorite podcast of the year, and I'm looking forward to that. But more than that, I'm so much looking forward to draft night. That is one of my favorite days of every year, and I'm so excited. Football's back, baby.
Yeah. Just looking at your team after drafting and looking at those matchups, it gets you pumped. It gets you amped.
It gets me so amped, and then we only have like 3 days after that before the first kickoff. Oh
Yep.
man. Oh, it's a great time of year, boys. It's a great time of year. All
Great
right, you
time.
got any closing thoughts before we end this thing tonight?
Just look out for next week's podcast after the draft. Like Ryan said, is going to be bookmarked, so you don't have to listen to the whole thing. But we'd appreciate it if you did listen to the whole thing. But yes,
Get
let's
our
just get
viewers
amped.
out.
We have a couple people that haven't paid, but you know who you are. So yeah, let's get going. Let's get going.
All right, boys. Well, that's it for us tonight. We will be back here in about a week or so with the draft recap pod before our first game of the season next Thursday. So much looking forward to it. Good luck on all your research, and we'll see you guys in a few days.
Peace.
Peace.